Benzino. The whole beef started back in the early 2000s, not in the streets or even on a diss track, but over a review. Benzino was the co-owner of The Source magazine, which at the time was considered the Bible of hip-hop. When Eminem dropped The Eminem Show in 2002, the album received 4 out of 5 mics from The Source. Now for most rappers, that's solid praise, but M felt differently. He believed the rating wasn't just unfair, it was racially motivated. Eminem didn't keep those feelings to himself either. He made it clear in interviews that he had zero respect for Benzino or the publication and refused to acknowledge them while doing press for 8 Mile. In fact, there was one moment that really kicked things into high gear. M was in Puerto Rico for a show and Benzino showed up backstage hoping to interview him. Eminem wasn't having it. He iced him out completely.
Angie, I swear on my daughter's life, I never met this dude. I never met this man, this girl. She is obsessed with me.
Benzino wasn't just going to let that slide. He went on a press run venting about the snub and then followed up with a diss freestyle. But things escalated quick when Benzino dropped several diss tracks like Pull Your Skirt Up, I Don't Wanna, clearly trying to bait M into a full-on battle. He rapped, "You ain't repping the streets, you from the outskirts of Detroit where the B meet. I'm going to pull your skirt up, expose your true ex, antagonize your label till I get my respect." And Eminem took the bait, but in the worst possible way for Benzino. Eminem clapped back with The Sauce, Invasion, and the now iconic Nail in the Coffin. M tore into every part of Benzino's image, his weak bars, his age, his fake tough guy act, and especially the fact that he was hiding behind a desk at The Source pretending to still be a rapper. He rapped, "I don't want to be like this, I don't really want to hurt no feelings, but I'm only being real when I say, nobody wants to hear their grandfather rap. And old men have heart attacks and I don't want to be responsible for that. So put the mic down and walk away. You can still have a little bit of dignity." Another one of the most quoted bars went, "I would never claim to be no Ray Benzino, an 83-year-old fake Pacino, so how can he hold me over some balcony without throwing his lower back out as soon as he goes to lift me?" At that point, the entire hip-hop world was watching, and it wasn't looking good for Benzino. But Benzino wasn't ready to take the L quietly. He tried to fight back with tracks like Die Another Day and even dropped a cringeworthy parody of Lose Yourself called Better Lose Yourself. But the real damage came when he took things way too far. In one of his responses, he threatened Eminem's life and even mentioned Haley. That was the final straw. The hip-hop community instantly turned on him. Radio stations stopped playing his songs, artists distanced themselves, fans dragged him, and any credibility he had left started crumbling fast. And of course, Eminem wasn't done yet. He followed up with another scathing diss track called Go to Sleep, and this time, Ja Rule caught some of the heat too. But then came what Benzino thought would be his nuclear bomb, a track called Foolish Pride. This was an unreleased song Eminem recorded as a teenager where he used racially insensitive language. Benzino pounced on it. He uploaded the audio to The Source's website, printed the full lyrics in the magazine, and tried to spin the entire narrative to make M look like a closet racist. At the time, it looked like Benzino might have finally landed a serious blow, but then Eminem owned up to it. He addressed the song publicly, explained it as a shameful mistake from his teenage years, and apologized, and the fans listened. By then, the damage was done, but not to Eminem. It was Benzino who looked worse. The hip-hop world had already made up its mind. Eminem had completely outclassed and outlasted Benzino on every level. And then in 2024, M fired off another bombshell. On his verse in Lyrical Lemonade's Doomsday 2, Eminem once again lit Benzino up, only this time he added Benzino's daughter, Coi Leray, into the mix. The bars were brutal. What is the opposite of Benzino? A giraffe. Go at his neck, how the F is that? How can I go at something he doesn't have? Arms so short he can't even touch his hands when they're above his head doing jumping jacks. And, well, I guess then I regret to inform you, hate to spoil the day, but this doesn't bring me no joy to say. Guess that Coi Leray feet is in the toilet. At this point, Benzino finally broke. He went on Drink Champs and broke down crying, telling the world that this beef had been eating him alive for over 22 years. He admitted that the drama didn't just mess with his public image, it messed with his family, especially his relationship with Coi Leray.
Got nothing against Eminem that can rap, but I care about us more. I don't want to go through, I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't want, for 22 years, every time I do an interview, they ask me about Eminem. My daughter came into the industry figuring that, hey, I gotta be cool with Eminem because everybody's against my dad. You think cool? Nah, man.
According to Benzino, she probably felt forced to distance herself from him because siding with Eminem was the safer, more popular move. It hurt him deeply knowing the whole world was basically rooting against him and that his own daughter may have felt the weight of that pressure. Ja Rule. He and Eminem never had a personal issue at first. The real tension started with Ja's long-standing beef with 50 Cent. 50 and Ja had serious street problems, and when Eminem decided to sign 50 to Shady Records, Ja felt like M picked a side. That's when Ja decided he wasn't just going to beef with 50, he was coming for the whole Shady aftermath camp. But instead of keeping it lyrical or sticking to shots at M himself, Ja crossed a major line. He dissed Haley. In one of his songs he rapped, "M, you claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known S, so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?"
I was in Detroit and I was there for 2 days and we recorded four songs during that time period. Ja said something about M and he mentioned Haley. I specifically remember this moment because this is when I seen M offended by what he said, because I wasn't intending to say anything about that. I was going to be quiet about it because I didn't want M to feel like he brought up a problem. And
that line was like lighting a fuse. Eminem, who had always been extremely protective of his daughter, was furious, so M rounded up the Shady family and came back swinging with a savage track titled Haley's Revenge. The song started off with a clip of young Haley being asked what she wanted to be when she grows up, to which she replied, "I don't know, but I don't want to grow up to be like Ja Rule's little dirty kids." From there, it was a full-blown lyrical war. Eminem didn't hold back, throwing in lines like, "Bring daddy's Oscar, we're gonna shove it up Ja Rule's and "Don't you never say my little girl's name in a song again, effing punk, I'll F you up, boy." He also took direct shots at Ja for trying to mimic Tupac's legacy, something Ja had constantly been accused of during his career. M rapped, "You on Pac's D, you a replica guy. If you were still alive, you would never get by. All you do is cry, B, keep it real. Life is more than imitating and eating pills." But that wasn't even the end of it. Eminem and 50 Cent then teamed up on a diss track called Hail Mary, flipping the title of one of Pac's most iconic songs and turning it into a weapon against Ja. The message was clear. Ja wasn't Pac and never would be. One of the hardest-hitting lines said it all. "Come get me, mother F, if you want Shady. If Pac was still here now, he would never ride with Ja." The Shady camp made sure Ja Rule got buried under an avalanche of bars, and the impact was clear. Ja's once glowing career started to dim, especially as 50 Cent exploded in popularity and basically took over the early 2000s. By 2004, Eminem addressed the entire feud in a more reflective way on the song Like Toy Soldiers. He admitted he tried to squash the beef but couldn't once Ja brought Haley into it. "That Ja-ish, I tried to squash it. It was too late to stop it. There's a certain line you just don't cross, and he crossed it. I heard him say Haley's name on a song and I just lost it." But even though M said he was done with the drama, the damage had already been done, and not to M. Ja Rule's momentum was never quite the same again. He went from dominating the charts to struggling to stay relevant in a rap game now ruled by 50 and the G-Unit's Shady aftermath machine. Still, Eminem couldn't help but get one last shot in years later. On his 2018 Kamikaze album, he fired off a stray bullet in Ja's direction just to remind people, "I hear you talking ish, I'm just too big to respond to it. God forbid I forget, go and jump out the window. Somebody better childproof it, cause if I lose it, we can rewind to some old Ja Rule-ish, and I can remind mother F's how I do-ish." Machine Gun Kelly. Most fans trace the beef between him and Eminem back to 2012 when MGK tweeted about M's daughter Haley, calling her hot as F, though he added it was in the most respectful way possible and even called M King in the same breath. The problem was Haley was only 16 at the time and MGK was around 21. At first it seemed like M just let it slide, but behind the scenes he was apparently fuming. By 2015, MGK claimed he'd been blackballed from major platforms, including being banned from Eminem's Shade 45 radio station. In an interview with Hot 97, MGK later opened up about how the tweet affected his career. He explained that he was about 21 at the time and didn't mean any harm, but the industry didn't see it that way. He claimed that because of that one tweet, some people blackballed him, his music stopped getting played in certain places, and some wouldn't even review his work.
Beautiful.
I said she's beautiful,
Yeah.
but all respect due, Eminem is king.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
People won't even listen or review this joint. Certain places you won't even hear Machine Gun Kelly on.
Oh.
Certain things
Right.
won't even happen.
Fast forward and MGK decided to take more shots, this time more subtle, on Tech Nine's track No Reason. Fans were quick to point out that one of MGK's verses seemed to be aimed straight at Eminem, flipping the title of M's track Rap God into a diss. "I pop cherries and pop stars, you popsicles is not hard. Popped in on the top charts at the cop car. To remind y'all you just rap, you're not God, and I don't care who got bars." Then M finally snapped. After keeping quiet for 6 long years, he dropped Kamikaze and used the track Not Alike to fire back hard. He didn't bother with subliminals, he went straight at MGK. But next time, you don't gotta use Tech 9 if you wanna come at me with a submachine gun. And I'm talking to you, but you already know who the F you are, Kelly. I don't use sublims and sure as F don't sneak diss. In response, MGK dropped Rap Devil, a full-blown diss aimed straight at Eminem. He mocked M for taking so long to respond and for being out of touch, saying, "Took you 6 years and a surprise album just to come with a diss." But then he made an even bigger mistake. He brought up Haley again. Tough talk from a rapper paying millions for security a year. I think my dad's gone crazy. Yeah, Haley, you right, dad's always mad. Cooped up in the studio yelling at the mic. You're sober and bored, huh? About to be 46 years old, dog. At that point, MGK went from pushing buttons to completely crossing the line again, and fans knew the clapback was only going to get nastier from here. Eminem later sat down with Sway Calloway for an interview where he opened up about how the whole situation with MGK started. He explained that he was randomly watching videos online when he stumbled on a clip of MGK talking about his daughter Haley. That moment triggered everything for M, who was shocked and irritated that MGK was doing interviews and basically using Haley's name to promote himself.
Then he starts doing a press run, basically, about Haley. I'm like, what the Yo, my man better chill.
But according to Eminem, the real reason he dissed MGK was even more petty. It wasn't just about the tweet, it was because MGK claimed Eminem had banned him from Shade 45 and was actively trying to sabotage his career. M made it clear that he didn't care enough about MGK to be plotting against him and flat out said MGK wasn't even worth a conversation when it came to top-tier rappers.
Like I'm trying to hinder his career, so about your career. You think I actually think about you? You know how many rappers that are better than you?
Then came Kill Shot, a brutal diss track aimed directly at MGK. It was packed with savage bars, including the now infamous line mocking MGK's name and appearance. Here's that autograph for your daughter. I wrote it on a starter cap. Stan, son, listen man, dad isn't mad, but how you gonna name yourself after a gun and have a man bun? A couple of years later, in 2020, Eminem wasn't quite done. He surprise dropped Music to be Murdered By, and on the track Unaccommodating, he took another shot at MGK, this time framing the entire beef as something he had already moved past. But when they asked me is the war finished with MGK, of course it is. I cleansed him of his mortal sins, I'm God and the Lord forgives even the devil worshippers. By then, MGK had shifted his music style completely, ditching rap for a pop-punk sound. And while it may not have been the official reason, a lot of fans couldn't help but joke that Eminem had dissed MGK straight out of hip-hop. Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon. This one was messy. M claimed he and Mariah had a relationship, but Mariah brushed it off like it never happened.
The Mariah thing, yeah, that's true. Those rumors are true.
In terms of me having like an intimate relationship with men, I can name them all on one hand and he ain't on the hand.
That just fueled M more. On tracks like Superman, When the Music Stops, and Bagpipes from Baghdad, he aired out their history. B, if you died, I wouldn't buy you life. What, you Mariah? Fly through twice. Mariah answered back with Clown and later the big one, Obsessed. In the video, she literally dressed up as Eminem with a hoodie and goatee, clowning him. M wasn't having it. He dropped The Warning, one of his coldest disses ever toward a pop star, where he threatened to leak phone calls as proof of their fling. Oh geek, is that supposed to be me in the video with a goatee? Wow, Mariah, didn't expect you to go balls out. B, shut the F up before I put all them phone calls out. Mariah's then husband Nick Cannon jumped in, releasing I'm a Slick Rick and saying he'd beat M up in interviews.
He said my name. I'm like, look, I know I ain't gonna be. I said that I know I'm not gonna be able to out rap you, but I will whoop your ass. And those were the exact words.
Ooh.
M laughed it off and later flamed him again on Lord Above. Almost got my caboose kicked. Fool quit. You not going to Ish. I'd let her chop my balls off too before I lost to you, Nick. Mariah never admitted to the relationship, not even in her memoir, choosing silence instead, which basically left Eminem with the last word. But the funny part is that the beef was between M and Mariah, but somehow Nick ended up the real loser. Joe Budden. He started off as part of Slaughterhouse, signed under Eminem's Shady Records, but eventually he shifted from being a teammate to being one of M's biggest critics. It all kicked off on his podcast where Budden called Eminem's revival album trash.
From what I know, it sounds trash. Even though it didn't come with audio, we're looking at it and the common folk are saying, this looks trash.
And week after week, Budden kept the energy going. More digs, more critiques. Always on the mic, but never in the booth. At first, Eminem didn't clap back directly. He addressed the overall hate with a chloroseptic remix, throwing a jab about people doing reaction videos and talking over songs. But when Kamikaze dropped, that's when M called out Budden by name on the track Fall with a line, "Somebody tell Budden before I snap he better fasten it or have his body bag get zipped. The closest thing he's had to hits is smacking girls." But instead of dropping a diss track back, Budden doubled down on his podcast, saying he was better than Eminem.
Let me tell you what Joe Budden has thought this entire time. I've been better than you this entire decade.
The internet wasn't buying it though. Most people thought Budden was way out of pocket claiming he was better than Eminem. After that, Budden walked away from rapping altogether, but still made Eminem a recurring topic on his show. Michael Jackson. Back in 2004, Eminem dropped Just Lose It off his Encore album, and it caused an uproar. The song, and especially the music video, were basically aimed right at Michael Jackson, who was already under heavy fire at the time with his abuse allegations. Eminem dressed up like Michael, mocked him by pretending to burn his scalp, a shot at the infamous Pepsi commercial accident, and even went after his nose surgeries. And Michael wasn't laughing. Speaking to a radio station, he made it clear how furious he was, calling the video outrageous and disrespectful. He said there's a difference between a spoof and straight up demeaning somebody. In another interview, he even said Eminem should be ashamed of himself. His spokesperson confirmed Michael was exploring legal action.
Never met Mr. Eminem, and to have him, I've always admired him, and to have him do something like that was pretty painful. He should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing.
Eminem, on the other hand, brushed it off. According to him, he was just happy that Michael even noticed his work, claiming the video was just a jest, not meant to really mock him. Still, the fallout was major. BET stepped in and banned the video entirely. Then came the legendary payback rumor. In 2007, stories started floating around that Michael Jackson had bought Eminem's music catalog to get even. While it wasn't 100% true, there was some reality to it. Michael did own 50% of the company that ended up acquiring M's catalog. Whether intentional or not, it became part of their feud's folklore, a power move so big that no diss track could compete. Debbie Mathers. Even his own mother wasn't spared. It started right out the gate in 1999 with a Slim Shady LP. On My Name Is, M accused his mom of being a drug addict and living off welfare. 99% of my life I was lied to. I just found out my mom does more dope than I do. The album blew up, and suddenly, Debbie was in the spotlight too. She fired back with a $10 million lawsuit for defamation, saying her son exaggerated and lied.
He says you were neglectful.
No.
Pill popping.
No.
Welfare collecting.
No.
Eminem didn't back down. In interviews and later tracks like Marshall Mathers, he kept dissing her, even clowning her lawsuit. Then in 2022, he went nuclear with one of the coldest diss tracks ever made, Cleaning Out My Closet. The anger was raw. Lines like, "How dare you try to take what you didn't help me get, you selfish bee. I hope you burn in hell for this ish." The track became iconic, but it also showed just how deep his rage ran. Debbie technically won her lawsuit, but the payout was a measly $25,000. Years later, though, things shifted. In 2013, Eminem shocked fans when he apologized to his mom on Headlights off the Marshall Mathers LP2. He admitted he had gone too far, that he couldn't even perform Cleaning Out My Closet anymore. He softened, saying, "You're still beautiful to me because you're my mom." It was one of the rare moments of vulnerability where Slim Shady gave way to Marshall Mathers. Suge Knight. Suge was one of the most feared men in hip-hop, and since Eminem was under Dr. Dre, that automatically put him in Suge's line of fire. According to M's ex-bodyguard Big Nas, Suge made direct threats multiple times. At the 2001 Source Awards, Suge's people tried to strong-arm Eminem, Dre, and their crew. Security had to move crazy to keep M safe. It didn't stop there. Another time in Hawaii, Suge allegedly had over 50 guys waiting to ambush Dre, M, and Snoop, turning what was supposed to be a vacation into a full-on security crisis. And then there was the infamous 2003 In Da Club video shoot, where Suge pulled up with a squad of Mexican gang members to intimidate the camp. Eminem stood his ground, not backing down an inch.
This is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, "I don't give a man." This is when I knew, I'm like, Eminem is a real These niggas 50 outside, what's up?
Still, Dre gave M strict orders. Stay out of it. No diss tracks, no interviews, no stoking the fire. And for 2 decades, M stayed quiet. But then in January 2025, A leaked unreleased track called Smack You surfaced. Recorded around 2003, Eminem went straight for Suge's neck, accusing him of being behind the murders of Tupac and Biggie. "I'm holding Suge responsible for the deaths of the two greatest rappers to ever grace the planet." It was the diss Dre never allowed to drop, but the leak revealed just how M really felt all along. At this point, it's all irrelevant anyway. Suge's locked up, serving 28 years, officially out of everyone's way. Esham. Before Eminem blew up, Esham was the Detroit legend and pioneer of acid rap, so he took it personally when Eminem blew up and shifted the spotlight. Then M name-dropped him on the Slim Shady LP and then threw shade on Kill You. "I ain't acid rap, but I rap on acid." That was enough to set Esham off. He fired back with multiple disses, including Locks Up and Chemical Imbalance. On the latter, he crossed the line by rapping about Haley in a coma. And remind Eminem of D'Angelo Bailey. "Haley's in a coma, Haley's in a coma. I smell the aroma of a dead body, Chemical Imbalance." That didn't sit well. Things turned physical in 2001 at the Warped Tour when D12 and Esham's crew clashed in a brawl that got both acts kicked off the tour.
Went up to Esham, come here, twice. You know what I'm saying? Then denied him, came in, we owned him. And after that, yeah, they kicked us.
M never responded lyrically. He let D12 handle it in the streets. Esham later claimed he lyrically defeated Eminem, but also admitted M had moved on and forgotten about him. Everlast. The whole beef started over what seemed like a small slight. Everlast thought M disrespected him at a hotel by brushing him off when he tried to shake his hand. Instead of letting it go, Everlast threw a jab on a remix track, even slipping in a line that referenced M's daughter Haley. "Cock my hammer, spit a comment like Haley. I'll buck a 380 on ones that act shady." Everlast later claimed he didn't know Haley's name was Haley when he wrote the lyric, but people didn't believe him.
He thought in the first record that I did a little line about him on in Dilated Peoples, I say something about Haley's comment at that. I didn't know his daughter's name was Haley.
Anyways, mentioning Haley was always M's red button. M snapped back with "I remember," and then the brutal Quitter, where he threatened Everlast directly. "Figure you could diss me to jumpstart your career? I punch you in your chest till your heart kicks in gear. Talk about my little girl in a song again, I'ma kill you." Everlast tried to keep up with his own diss, Whitey's Revenge, but it didn't land. Once you cross that line with Haley, the battle is already lost. M buried him and Everlast's career never recovered from it. Cage. Cage claimed M basically stole his old style. The horrorcore flow, the dark humor, the twisted subject matter. He accused M of being a watered-down version of himself who just got lucky. Cage even released disses like Illest 4-Letter Word and B-Lady, going at Eminem's Slim Shady persona. Eminem barely acknowledged him except for one dismissive shot on Role Model. I bought Cage's tape, opened it, and dubbed over it. That was all M needed to say. Behind the scenes, though, Necro once claimed M wanted to physically fight Cage.
And Eminem was there. He was real concerned about Cage, you know, like, man, like, he thought maybe I was still down with Cage because he had beef with Cage. Yeah, you know, he talked and he said he was gonna fuck Cage up.
But publicly, Eminem never gave him enough attention to elevate him. In the end, Cage became just another underground rival left in the dust. Pop stars. The easiest spark came from Will Smith when he said he didn't need to curse to sell records, which M flipped into a legendary clapback. Will Smith don't gotta his raps to sell records, well I do, so F him and F you too. As for Christina Aguilera, she caught M's wrath after she allegedly spilled the tea on a secret wedding to Kim. M fired back with vicious bars about her personal life. I should download her audio on MP3 and show the whole world how you gave Eminem VD. Then Britney Spears, she was always a target. M grouped her in with boy bands like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, roasting them as the poster children of bubblegum pop. He mocked Britney's image and took shots on tracks like Marshall Mathers and I'm Back. He even parodied NSYNC in skits and videos, clowning them relentlessly. Moby. This started at the MTV VMAs. Moby publicly said M's lyrics were offensive and even refused to shake his hand on stage.
I think Eminem is very talented, but lyrically, I find him to be really offensive.
That was enough for M. On Without Me, he rapped, "And Moby, you can get stomped by Obi. You 36-year-old bald-headed hag, blow me." In the video, he even dressed up like Moby to mock him, and kept clowning him in interviews and behind-the-scenes footage.
I've been tricked. Energy OBB one with the earth. Have you seen my eyebrows?
At the 2002 VMAs, when the crowd booed him for going at Moby, M doubled down. Years later, Moby still talked about it in interviews and even wrote about the beef in his book. Meanwhile, M had long since moved on. Jermaine Dupri. It started when JD went on record saying he was untouchable as a producer, better than anyone, including Dre. That was a huge mistake. M rode for Dre, and on Say What You Say, he torched JD. We'll rub it in every club you're in, we'll have you blackballed and make sure you never rap again. JD tried to clap back with a freestyle, calling M a Disney character and mocking his boy band disses, but it was weak. Nobody took it seriously. Easy W for Eminem. Insane Clown Posse. Back in the late 90s, before Eminem became a rap god, he was just another hungry Detroit rapper pushing duct tape demo tapes and handing out Sharpie-written flyers. That hustle is how he ran into ICP, a big underground group in Detroit. The beef started in '97 when M was promoting a Slim Shady EP and made flyers saying ICP would be at a show even though they hadn't agreed to it. Violent J checked him about it and turned down the invite, which M took as a diss. From there, it got petty.
And then I looked at it and I had my name and I said, how you gonna put ICP on this fucking flyer when, you know what I'm saying, when you don't even know if we're gonna be there, and then put maybe like that. And then he said, well, I'm asking you now. Hell no, man, what the f? And I was like, man, don't be putting our name on this. And I walked away and he was just like, you know, I guess he took it as a diss.
M threw shots until hell freezes over. ICP fired back with Slim. A parody of My Name Is that people widely agree was one of the weakest diss tracks ever. M doubled down on the Marshall Mathers LP with the line, Slim, you damn right, Slim, I don't get effed in mine like you two little flaming. ICP responded with Ain't Nothing But a B-Thang, but again, it didn't land. Eventually, things cooled off. The two camps even symbolically squashed it by facing each other in a bowling match, Eminem's D12 versus ICP.